record, and I can't figure out if I'm recording. No, these are just promos of I'll pay you the difference, but they all say talent. So does that mean somebody else is reading it?
That usually means you.
That usually means me.
Yep,
I'm the talent.
you are. It's
Okay.
either you or Richard, but you do most of the talking for the show.
All right. Well, we'll table those until the end if you want to, if you have time to record a few.
We'll
I
give
have
it a
to,
shot.
if we don't, it's fine. It's okay. We'll do it next week. But do we have to do promos for that show up in at KNUS?
I assume that's what you were just now talking about.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Because we didn't send over any promo stuff. The
Good
only
Lord,
promo that we
please.
require is the 15-second that we record at the end of the broadcast, featuring whichever segment that you want to highlight.
Okay. I'm just confused. I don't know what he's
I'm
doing.
sorry if I'm being too direct, but I had a late night last night and we had all kinds of internet problems this morning.
You did. You were working last night?
Yeah, I was running the women's basketball, and then internet went down right after that, and I didn't get restored until 8 a.m. So,
I didn't
and
sense
all
it
kinds
was
of
short
issues.
with me.
Okay,
So if you thought you were being short, I didn't notice it, but I
yeah,
got your message.
okay,
If we have time, we'll do it. If not, we'll do it next week.
okay,
Okay.
excellent.
All right. So I'm ready to roll. Um, take my glasses off. Pretty exciting. My husband finally gave my car a bath. We, when we were in Texas, he spilled a latte on the carpet and it just stunk up the truck. It's like, oh, but now it's fine. I can't hear you again.
Ask me. Is that what?
Let's see. Yeah, I got a clock here. I'm sorry. Everything has been crazy. What David was alluding to is we lost our signal overnight, and it
Wow.
looked like we weren't going to have it back. And then he and the others were able to get it sorted out like right before my show started. But the entire morning show was gone. So I've been trying to get things back in order. I think I'm good to go. I've got a clock, I got a script, got an attitude.
Okay.
I'm good to go, Barb.
Okay, I'm ready when you are.
I'll count us down in three, two, one. Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's Real Estate Authority, Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb is an author. Barb Schlinker is also a pilot, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday. If you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or just go ahead and search for Barb on most of the popular podcast platforms like iHeartRadio. So, Barb, what are we talking about this weekend?
Well, Richard, good morning, and I'm happy to speak with you again. So the first topic is about how accurate are the Zillow Zestimates of home values in Colorado? I get a lot of questions about this when I ask them what they think their home is worth. They always refer to this website. So I'm going to have fun talking about them and some of the myths about whether or not their opinion of value actually reflects what the market will do. And then the next topic is about if you are getting ready to sell your home, what are the questions that you should ask when you're hiring a realtor right here in Colorado? There's some interesting questions that might really surprise you. And then the third topic is what should you do excuse me. What should you do if your house is not selling and how do you fix it? And the very last topic is how does a cash offer work when selling your house? And as always, I love covering my hot new listings. Richard?
No one seems to know for sure where the interest rates are going to be going, and some people are seeing their home values drop on sites like Zillow Zestimates. Barb Schlinker, how accurate are those Zillow's estimates right here in Colorado?
Well, a lot of people don't really know what Zillow is. They are a billion-dollar tech company that basically, went nationwide with a better mousetrap than the online 1,500 different multiple listing services. So there are actually 1,500 different multiple listing services in the country. They're all very local. All of their softwares are different and they don't talk to each other. Doesn't that sound like the government to you?
That sounds a lot like the government, in all honesty. That's not a good thing right now.
No, it's not. But that those MLSs, they go up to Realtor.com, which actually is another tech company. They put all that data together and they share it with a bunch of other different websites. So in the case of Zillow, though, Realtor.com and Zillow got into a legal battle, and now Zillow had to go directly and negotiate with each individual MLS to get their data. They also went to the tax record data to get their data. So many times the stuff that's displayed online on their website is not necessarily accurate. It's not a listing service, although they do copy some stuff that's in the MLS. They also copy and aggregate some other data, like if people are putting their houses up for sale or for rent. And they are kind of the go-to website for buyers. I'll admit it, they definitely have taken over the hearts and minds of buyers online. So that's the place where most home sellers look because they're assuming that Zillow knows what their home is worth. But it is not a listing service. It is not a service where appraisers, who are licensed people that give an opinion of value, go to for the opinion of value. And their data does not have to be accurate. In fact, the way Zillow makes their money is that they created a better website or mousetrap essentially for buyers. Buyers go there, they look at homes and go, oh, I want to see their home. So they raise the hand, and then Zillow takes that contact information of the buyers and sells it to real estate agents. A lot of real estate agents spend a ton of money on Zillow just to get a lead or maybe a half dozen leads, like per zip code. If you pick any zip code in the area, an agent might pay three or four or $5,000 a month to get six potential leads, but those potential leads may not go to them. It depends on whether or not they answer the phone. And they have to pay that month after month, regardless of whether or not they convert any of those leads. So it's basically they piggybacked on the housing industry and found a way to make money. And a couple of years ago, Zillow really got into the real estate business and they were buying homes. They were making extraordinary offers on homes. In fact, I remember meeting with some home sellers where they said, hey, Zillow offered me this much money. And I knew the amount that they were offered was well above what the market could command because I had done my research and I told them, you should take it. And Zillow went on to lose $1 billion overpaying for houses. So they stopped doing that when they finally figured that out. And basically, what they own is really good national market share and online presence, and it's where the buyers are searching. But it doesn't matter if the data is accurate to them because their whole sole purpose in life is to sell leads or sell services to mostly the real estate agents or the housing industry in general. So accuracy definitely is a problem. They also sell other data services like the showing service. So if an agent puts a home on the market, Zillow bought this company called Showing Time, which basically gets all the data of who is showing, what's the seller's phone number, what's the feedback, which when I saw him do that, I was like, I don't really like sharing that much information about my sellers, but that's the go-to website now for all the real estate agents. In fact, the real estate agents became so dependent on it, they didn't even read the multiple listing service, which has more data about the homes. They would just use this showing time applications to set showings, and they would meet the buyer there. And if the buyer liked it, woohoo, they might make some money. So, it's very interesting to see where they have gone, and they've made a gazillion dollars. So Zillow's goals basically is just to get a buyer to ask the question, and they really don't care if the data is accurate. So I get those questions all the time. They're like, "Well, it shows my house is a 2 bedroom when actually it's a 4 bedroom, or it's missing the whole basement." One thing you may not know is different MLS areas count square footage in a different way. So, like the whole Denver area really focuses on the above grade square footage, even though it could be doubled with the basement. And then El Paso County does it just the opposite. All the square footage is included. So, it doesn't matter to them. And actually, as a home seller, you can go up on there and change the data. You just have to claim the listing and you can provide information to Zillow if you really want. But when you go on the market, all the new, fresh, accurate data will replace whatever's on there right now. And what's going on right now is, the buyer activity has actually picked up quite a bit because the rates came back down into the sixes. As of this morning, conventional rates were hovering in the mid to upper sixes, like 6.7. VA and FHA loans are in the low sixes, and many lenders are offering to buy down the rate by 1% just to get buyers to say, okay, fine, I'm going to buy a house now. It's all about payment for the buyers, of course. But anyway, most agents put the most weight on home values based on past historic similar sales. That's exactly what appraisers do as far as home value. They take a look at, they compare apples to apples. So you can't compare a two-story to a ranch. It has to be the same type of home. And then they try to pick homes that have sold in the last 6 months within about a mile of the home, or if it's a rural home, you could go out further. These estimates don't care about those things. They're basically just taking all the sales around you and averaging it. So they don't know. Zillow doesn't know what kind of improvements you put in your home. They don't know if you've done an addition. They don't know if you've got views. All those things are missing from the data. They're just averaging sales around you and saying, hey, we think your house is worth this based on their super secret algorithm. But that number may not be true. The only problem with it is it could work against home sellers if you go on the market at a certain price and Zillow's saying, well, no, we think it's worth this much. That's a problem. I've seen that happen before. But they're important only because they have a lot of the buyer's eyes. They have actually over 220 million monthly viewers on Zillow. Okay. And what those monthly viewers are seeing are the home values all around those homes, including yours. And actually, the first impression of a home, besides the pictures, is the price. So it has to be right out of the gate. And most buyers, of course, are looking for the best value. That's why the sellers that choose to price their home realistically versus optimistically tend to sell fast and for the most money, even though they might be priced a little bit on the very realistic side. And it's really changed in the last couple of years because interest rates more than doubled. So even though prices went up 40% while the rates were low, the prices have not come down. Interest rates are up over 100%. So we've got a dilemma. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. If you are thinking of making a move, give us a call. We love to sit down and talk to home sellers and give them a really good idea what their home will sell for in this market, and show them what we do to get top dollar for homes and let them know exactly how much they're going to put in their pocket. All you need to do is go to barbhasthebuyers.com or give us a call at 719-301-3900. So when we come back, we're going to be talking about how you can really get an accurate value on your home. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And you can reach Barb and her team at 719-301-3900. We're talking about the accuracy of those Zillow Zestimates on home values here in Colorado. What can home sellers do to improve their value presentation online, Barb?
Well, Richard, it's a little bit hard now because the prices have mellowed out. Like they've gone flat in most markets, especially through last fall. But what we are seeing more recently is the prices are starting to head back up again. So if you're a buyer and you're thinking about making a home, don't wait for the right time if you can afford it, because the prices are probably not going to come down, at least not along the front range. But if you pick a good agent, don't rely on the Zestimate. Don't let the agent talk you into overpricing your home. That means your house will sit on the market month after month and you won't end up being happy. You have to look at the whole picture, and that's absolutely what we help our home sellers do. We take a look at historic sales that are real comparable sales like an appraiser would use. We look at what the current market is doing. We look at your current competition and help you decide how to position the home to be the best home on the block. All you need to do is give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about what questions should you ask before you hire a real estate agent here in Colorado. Should I say realtor or real estate agent?
Um, Either one's fine, actually.
I think
Realtor is a trademark term. If you're a member of the National Association of Realtors, which I am,
I think that
reluctantly,
I think
they
we'll leave
always
it.
punish me.
I know. Surprised I haven't yanked your wait, here we are.
I get busted on every single listing, for something. Kind of funny. It's
You are
entertaining for
have
me.
always been like a rebel child here. All right.
I tried to shorten that up. Is that better, DJ?
No, that was perfect, wasn't it, DJ? Whoops. Looked like it.
Pretty good.
Hang on a second. Is that you? Okay. All right. All is well.
Yeah, Denver just has different parameters. They
Right.
need it shorter than what we normally do. So,
Right. So do we have to fill the time with commercials or what?
no, they want it shorter.
Mm. Yeah, I'm talking about when I air on um KVOR.
Oh, we could. I usually mix down two different versions. At least that's what I did
Okay.
when you used to be on. I mix one that does have more of your advertising that you do here. I basically fill both in between. Um, one in between the first two segments, and then a longer ad at the very end so that I can fill all the time.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just, yeah, wondering if I should record more ads.
I have different lengths. I have 15, 30, and 60 that I rotate through. I try to keep it fresh.
Okay. I'm sure you do.
I'm pretty meticulous. That's
He is
one of
very
my
meticulous.
few good qualities.
I second that. Few good qualities, but very meticulous. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
That's a hard talent to have, let me tell you.
I think putting up, not you, but putting up with me is something that would be prone towards frustration. And
That's
the
just the
fact that,
patience. That's
you
that's
know,
a whole nother thing.
it's true. All right. I've got a doctor's appointment in Lone Tree that I got to get to. So I'll try. I'll
And
try
I
to
have
keep
a
it on
1 o'clock. So
You always do.
We'll
Yeah.
get through this.
All right. Here we go.
We'll be done early.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, I know many people ask you questions when they're getting ready to sell their homes. So, what are the top questions that home sellers should be asking before they put their home up for sale?
Well, Richard, I think it's important to ask the right questions when you're hiring a real estate agent to handle one of your largest assets. It's not the same as purchasing a home. Purchasing is kind of, to me, like shopping on steroids, you know. But when you're selling a home, it's a little bit more challenging. The whole process of getting the house ready for sale, making sure whoever you hire presents the home not only correctly with marketing, but with pricing, and can help you get to the finish line in a reasonable amount of time. And there are different specialties in the real estate business. And the funniest thing is there's no job description for this job. There's no how to. A majority of the real estate companies don't really have uh, instruction on how to be a listing agent or how to be a buyer's agent. I mean, they mostly teach how to keep the agents out of legal trouble, but other than that, there's not a this is the best way to do this or that. So even I just hired a very experienced agent, and she showed me her listing and I was helping her. I'm like, okay, obviously she's got years in the business, but it was clear to me she didn't have the training on how to really capture the heart and mind of the buyer with online presentation. So I'm helping her with that. And not everybody knows how to do it, and it's hard to find that kind of instruction. So first of all, you have to start with what is your strategy when you're going to sell the home. Some people don't want to go through the whole process of making their house fantastic, beautiful, like HGTV. They don't want to do that. And that's okay. That's a different strategy as long as it's priced right. And generally, even homes that seem to be priced right are taking a lot longer to sell because there's more inventory, the interest rates are higher, the buyers have more choices, and the builders absolutely are beating up existing sales with great incentives and buying down their interest rates and throwing in a few, free things like refrigerators and air conditioners and things like that. So it's hard for a home seller reselling a home to position themselves to be the best home on the block. Like I have one right now that right around the corner from this home that was built in the 90s, there's all kinds of brand new homes priced very similarly. However, they're not quite as big, right? But they're brand new homes with all fresh new everything. And so the first five showings, three out of the five agents gave the feedback that said that, oh, my buyer went and bought a brand new house. So if you have to compete with that, you need somebody that's really experienced to take care of that. So it's really, really important as the market kind of shifts between sellers and buyers market that you do the first four things right. Number one is picking the right agent, somebody that you have confidence that can get the home sold. I just met with a home seller yesterday, and she had her house on the market for 6 months, and she she had a certain price that she wants to get for her home. And I think she only had one showing in all that time. And what she told me was, and it did not sell, and she's just kind of done with the whole mental process of, okay, my house has to look good every day because any day we could get somebody that wants to see it and maybe wants to buy it. So it's quite an effort to get this done. What we ask people to do in the traditional sales market is a lot more challenging than buying a home, which is again like shopping, very expensive shopping, which is fun. So you have to make sure you pick the right agent that knows how to do it, that knows how to promote the home so that your online presentation, both with price and with presentation, is excellent. And you have to price it right. So all those things, you have to pick the right person. So we're going to kind of cover a couple of the questions that you should be asking when you talk to agents about selling homes. And it's really interesting. Most people just pick whoever they worked with when they bought the home. Oh, she was nice. I knew her. Okay, but are they really skilled to handle selling one of these high-end type of assets? It's not like selling a car. So the number one question you should be asking is, how should I prepare my home before I sell it? We do this multiple times every single week. We come out, we take a tour, we take a look at the home. We give you tips on what to do, what not to do to get your house ready for sale, and then give you a really good idea what the market will command for your home and show you how much you'll put in your home in your pocket when it sells. Number two question, what is my home worth? So pricing is really the first impression right alongside those pictures. So I've been talking to a lot of people that are selling and buying, and they'll tell me when they're looking at homes online, they're only spending a few seconds before they're moving on to the next house. That's why the online marketing presentation has to be great as well as pricing, because you only have a few minutes to make an impression with a buyer as to whether or not they're even going to come see your home. No, they're not going to come look at it if it's overpriced. No, they're not going to come look at it if the pictures are bad. That stuff has to be right. So there are some agents that will sit down and go, oh, I can get you, way more than what the market will bear, blah, 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 right? And they're just doing that to get you to sign the contract. And then they'll let the other agents, if they do show, say, oh, it's overpriced and beat you up to get the price down. That's the worst thing you can do, because the longer it sits on the market, the more time the home buyer thinks, well, because all this data is online. You look at realtor.com or any one of these websites, Zillow, it's going to say how long it's been on the market. So there's some agents out there still teaching, oh, take it off the market for 30 days and it'll reset the clock. Nope, that's not true anymore. Both Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, all that data is right there at the buyer's fingertips where they can see how long it's been on the market. But at the end of the day, if you price it right, the market's going to pick your home not only to see, but also to make an offer because the buyer has decided this is the best home for me right now. It's not Zillow that decides, it's not the seller that decides what it's going to sell for, it's not how much you're going to net in your pocket. It is the market that's deciding what it will sell for. And that's why these questions are absolutely so important. Another really good question is, how many homes have you sold in the last year? You might be surprised to hear, Richard, that I would say about 80% of the agents are selling home. I'm sorry, let me say that again. I would say half the agents don't sell any homes. And the other half, on average, are selling only 3 or 4 homes a year. A year. Now, I'm not talking a month. Okay, if they're selling only 3 or 4 homes a year, how do they know what's going on in the market? How do they know really what your home is worth? How much research have they really done? So that's a good question. And if you do it right and you hire the right agent, it shouldn't take very long to get a buyer to make an offer on your house. And it absolutely requires preparation, pricing, promoting it right, and of course, picking the right agent. Another good question, how long will it take to sell my house? Well, it kind of depends on those types of homes in that area. It can't be an average because certain neighborhoods sell faster than others. Certain types of homes, like a ranch versus a two-story, sell faster than others. Um, But if it's priced right and it's marketed right, it'll actually sell very quickly. If you got those two things wrong, it could take months and months. Right now, the average days on market, if you look at all along the Front Range, is pretty close to about 100 days before they get a contract. That number is dropping right now because it is the selling season, but it's all about looking backwards and picking somebody that really knows how to do it. And the reason why the homes are sitting on the market longer, it's not just interest rates, because they've been pretty stable really since the rates went up in 2022. I think the difference is that the agents typically, when they tell a seller to price, they look at historic sales and they'll say, oh, your home is worth that much. But then when they put on the market, it's not working. Why is that? Because you have to look at the whole picture, not just half the picture, to help the seller decide how to price a home, what I call realistically versus optimistically. Then you've got buyers out there that have a house to sell, right? So, how do you fix that problem? Those are some of the things that I would be asking somebody that you're interviewing. How do you handle it if somebody makes an offer and they have to sell a home before they can buy mine? That's a really good question to ask a real estate agent. Not everybody has a solution, but we do. My name is Barb Schlinker. We're the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show. And we're talking about some questions that you should ask to a real estate agent before you hire them. When we come back, we're going to talk about some more questions and some solutions that we have for home sellers. If you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Barb, we're discussing the top questions that a home seller should ask when they're getting ready to sell their home. Everyone knows that I've been recommending you for years now. So tell us, what are some key questions that a home seller should be asking real estate agents?
Well, another good question is, how do you know that agent is really the best real estate agent for me? So a good question would be, what is your marketing plan? How do you plan to get my home sold? That's a very, very good question. Another great question is, how did you come up with your opinion of value? There are different kinds of values. There is the tax assessed value, which is the value based on sales that were 18 to 24 months behind the current market. And 18 to 24 months ago, that was when, prices were flying high, there were bidding wars before the rates went up. So it's a different value than what it is now. There's market value, which is what a buyer is willing to pay. There's appraised value, which is just an opinion of value, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the market's going to pay that much. And another really key question that you should ask an agent before you hire them is, how long of an agreement should I sign? And am I committed if I decide to make a change in real estate? Like, can I cancel? I've seen some really interesting situations where an agent might have signed an agreement with a seller for 6 months. So it's an agreement to handle the sale for this long, but the agent is not performing for whatever reason. The state contracts actually don't have anything in it about performance. They just basically have a lot of commitment stuff and how they're going to be a fiduciary for the seller, but there's nothing in there about performance. So you should get in writing whether or not, if you're not satisfied with them based on what they said they're going to do, which is built in the state contract, but you have to have in writing what they promised to do. And if they don't perform, can you cancel? That's a great question. And you know what? We actually offer to our anybody that's interested to go to barbhasthebuyers.com and click on the free reports button. There's some really great stuff that you could download for free on questions you should ask before you hire an agent. But if you are thinking of making a move, we'd love to talk to you. Give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, host of the program. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb is the owner, broker with them. If you are listening and thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. And if you want a free report on the top 10 questions to ask before you hire a real estate agent, visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Go to the green button. It'll be in the upper right-hand corner. It says free reports. Click on that and you'll be good to go. Short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about what should you do if your home is not selling and how do you fix that? Stay tuned for that. You hired Barb Schlinker. I mean, hello.
I don't know if you can squeeze all that into 12 minutes or DJ, but
I was pretty impressed, quite honestly. I saw where we were at after like the first 3 or 4 pages, and I'm like, no way. Ouch.
no
Every
way.
time I said that, you come back with way. All right.
This one's short.
All right. I'm good. If you are, Barb, David.
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, count us down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, owner, broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, with more homes on the market, there will be some homes that are just not selling. What are some of the reasons that they're not selling? And more importantly, what can be done about that?
Well, Richard, it gets back to the basic four. Number one, picking the right team to handle the sale. Number two, preparation. Is the home in good condition? Is it move-in ready? Is there any deferred maintenance? According to the National Association of Realtors, buyers that see homes that need work, 40% of them are going to skip that home and pick another one. So a lot of people say, well, can't I just give a credit for carpet allowance? I don't know if I'm going to pick the wrong carpet color or if they're going to tear it out and put in luxury vinyl. And at the end of the day, what buyers want is if the home works for them, they want to move in, drop their stuff, get on with their lives. If they want to improve it down the road, that's fine, but it at least has to be move-in ready. And that is especially with things like flooring or really obvious deferred maintenance, broken stuff, broken doorbells. Those plastic doorbells break all the time. So it's really critical to get yourself prepared and make the buyer think, oh, this is great. I want to buy it, walking in the door. Now, there are some sellers that will sell their home as is. And that's fine. It's okay. It actually says in the state contracts that the home is sold as is, where is, with all its faults. But the buyer can do an inspection and ask for stuff. And guess what? No matter what they do, unless the home is really underpriced, they're going to ask for stuff. And then we have the dilemma of, in the state of Colorado, inspectors, there is no license, there is no regulation, there is no oversight for inspectors. Anybody could be an inspector. I could be an inspector, and I'm scary with a tool in my hands. So there is no qualification. Now, most of them may have experience. A lot of them, to get certified, they go on this online website called I think it's called ASHI website, and they do an online certification. And then all of a sudden they're a home inspector. And what I find many times is whatever they're saying about these houses is not accurate, or their gadget is messed up. I have water pressure gadget problems lately a lot. Just things like that that create a lot of aggravation for the seller because it's not necessarily accurate about what's really going on with the house. But it is a point of negotiation. So let's say a home seller says, all right, I'm selling this as is. I don't plan to fix anything. I'm not remodeling anything. And we do sell homes like that all the time. But the key is they have to be priced what I call very realistically, like at least 10, maybe 20, maybe more below current market value to get a buyer to say, I'm all in, I'll take it as is, and I will fix it my own way. Now, one thing that we are seeing right now in the market, which is pretty exciting, is that the pending sales right now, all along the Front Range, I picked El Paso and Douglas County, are actually heading up. So we're getting more pending sales, even though the inventory is a little bit higher. So that's a good sign for this area for sure. And interest rates have an impact on that. Conventional right now is at 6.7%, VA, FHA in the low sixes, like 6.1. So buyers are buying homes in most cases based on whether or not they can afford the house payment, right? So if the rates are going lower, it's really, really important that you price the home right to be the best home on the market. So if it's not selling, it's one of two things. It's either pricing, well, promotion, or maybe it's condition, which is a part of promotion. Because even if the carpet is in good shape, but it might have a little bit of traffic areas, boy, that really picks up on these high quality digital cameras these days. And the buyers will pass it on their smartphone and not even go to see it if it looks like it has deferred maintenance. So really look very carefully at how your home is being marketed to make sure it's marketed correctly. And then the next thing you have to look at is what's your current competition. Overpriced homes will help your competition sell. So if it's pricing, all you're doing is helping buyers move along to the next house. It could be marketing though, and I have seen that a couple of times. I just helped a home seller recently where they had their house on the market for 110 days, and the person that took the pictures previously used his smartphone. That really, the pictures were terrible. They were dark, they were narrow, and he really didn't highlight some of the best features of the home. The home was beautiful. The seller actually spent a couple $1,000s a month and brought in staging furniture to get his home sold, and it still didn't work. Why is that? Because the online showing, the online presentation of the home online looked terrible, and they started the price too high and slowly walked the price down. So after 110 days, the seller gave up. He hired us. We corrected the photos. We went on the market at the open house. We had 40 people attend in 1 hour. We got offers right away, and it went under contract within 9 days at full price. So if it's done right, it could just be promotion, it could be pricing, or a combination of both. And you have to make sure you get that right. And even, people that handle foreclosed homes. I've handled a lot of foreclosed homes in my career. And the people that do that, they're not handling the people that represent the banks. They're not handling just a handful of homes. They're handling hundreds of homes. And so they know how to sell homes. All the foreclosed homes sell really fast. And the reason is they know how to price. Now, usually they don't fix it. Typically, they will just price it at a price that will make it sell, but they know how to make it sell. So I had one asset manager tell me one time, he goes, Barb, you're my eyes and ears on the ground. So what I need you to do is tell me if you're seeing something that's going to affect pricing. Like, does the carpet look bad? Do we have competition around the home? Because you only get one shot to make an impression. So don't let the buyer get away over these little things that we can easily correct. And affordability is an issue right now. Home buyers have to make well over 100,000 to be able to afford just an average priced home. So it's really, really important that you get that right when you go on the market. A lot of people, I've talked to some sellers that said, I'm not going to go below this price. I'm like, well, okay, it might take a long time. It may work, it may not. So, but let the market speak back to you. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some rules of thumb that will give you a clue that if you're priced wrong. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about the reason why a home is not selling. And when we come back, we're going to be discussing some ways to solve this house not selling issue. And if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900. We have over 28,115 buyers in waiting just on our little website. Typically, we can match at least 700 buyers to your home. But just call us, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Now, Barb, we're discussing why a home may not be selling. What are some of the things that home sellers can do about that home not selling right now?
Well, I'd say number one is think about your selling strategy. So there are some people that don't want to fix anything. I talked to a seller a month ago and he goes, I don't envision a bunch of buyers coming through my house and judging my home and making it look pretty. I'm not going to do that. And I said, okay, no problem. There is a price for that. So he decided to price it very aggressively and right away we were able to market to our buyers and we got offers right away. So there is a strategy, but if you're going to go as is with no repairs, especially on a home that needs work, that's okay. You don't have to do anything, but just price it very aggressively. But if you want full on the top of what the market can get, the buyers expect it all. They want a beautiful home. They want move-in ready. They want it priced right. And, it doesn't necessarily have to be remodeled. That's not what I mean. Like, we're helping somebody right now. I call it Granny's house. It's an inherited home. It's very well cared for. She took care of things like the roof and the water heater and the furnace. It has gleaming hardwood floors, but it has a 1960s kitchen. Let me say that again. It has a 1960s kitchen that's adorable, except that it's 1960s, including the appliances, but everything works. So we just looked at what the current similar home sales were selling for. What was the price of those homes where they gutted the kitchen and put all fresh new stuff? And what was the home that was not necessarily updated, but in good condition? And that was the price that the home seller chose. And in that case, those homes are sell very quickly. The number two thing is to make sure you price it what I call very realistically versus optimistically. What does that mean? We sit down with our home sellers and we take a real forensic look at not only what the current market is doing, what is your current competition, not just in that floor plan, but all different kinds of floor plans around that home. And we're like, okay, we're going to put our buyer hat on. We're going to drive around, look at homes. Which one would the buyer pick? And we actually show the sellers those pictures, and that way they can get a really good idea. Everybody wants the most money for their home in general, but most people, when they get those visuals, are like, okay, well, that one looks more valuable than my home. And then they can make a good decision about pricing. You really don't want to overprice your home and help sell the competition. And you know what? The way you can tell that you priced your home right is based on the volume of showings, the feedback of showings, and whether or not you're getting offers. We help home sellers do this every day. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900. That's the services we provide for free. We'll come out, take a look at your home, give you a really good idea what your home will sell for in this market. We'll show you what the market's doing, and then we'll show you exactly how much you'll put in your pocket when it sells. Give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That is Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. And if you are thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing how does a cash offer work when you're selling a house, plus Barb's hot new listings. Stay tuned for that. All right, I need to run to the men's room for just a second.
Okay, I'm gonna stretch my legs.
I you ever wonder what your purpose in life is?
All the time.
So, and I'm not kidding. I think back over my life. I used to say, he saved me, a couple times, and very dramatically he did, in fact, yes. On the other hand, I do go back and I'm like, nope, he saved me in a lot of little ways. Driving, I mean, I remember driving back from the Four Corners one night and I wanted to get home. We didn't have kids, and Pam's like, just get a hotel. Would you just do it in Walsenburg or someplace like that? And I'm like, we weren't rolling in dough, so I want to save a little bit of money, but bottom line is I just kept driving. I probably fell asleep 4 times on that drive. And sure enough, I woke up every time. But what a freaking idiot. Um, and then I think back to that driving with my fraternity back from spring break. We had 3 cars. Tony Zappia was, we all took turns driving. So
I'm ready whenever you guys are.
all right.
Is everything okay, Barb?
Um,
You don't want to ask that question
I
sometimes.
guess
Take a
not.
look at her. I mean,
yeah, it's fine. My husband's here.
there you are. All right.
Special guest for the final segment.
Yes,
Well, tell him
he's
I
been here.
say hi, and every time I see a car like his ripping up and down I-25, I think it's him. And then I've mentioned that to you a couple of times. You're like, no, that wasn't him.
Well,
Because
the
you
last
said,
time you thought he had a Mustang.
I know, right? He's got a
No,
truck.
he sold the muscle car. Now he's driving a truck. So
I'll be on the lookout for that.
yeah, he got uh, you know, those cars are I think they're fun to drive. I never got to drive them, but um, you know,
Very
practicality
nice.
wise is a problem.
And I mean, it is funny, and he'll vouch for this. If you ever see these chases, car chase, police chases out in California,
Yeah,
would you vouch for this? Almost every time it's a Dodge Charger or Challenger.
that's right, because they go
And
fast.
and they can outrun the cops. I don't know what the cops have. And
They can.
with helicopters, I'm like, well, fine, just follow with the helicopter, have a K9 unit there and whatever. But it's crazy. And worse than that are these people on motorcycles who cut lanes, flip off the cop, and then just take off and pull up next to me as they're, splitting lanes. I resist, dear
Yeah,
Lord, help me
my
resist temptation to open my door at this moment.
Friday night it was cold, but I was here at the office, and then I had to go visit one client, and then I called my husband and said, "Hey, let's go to dinner." And he's like, "No, we're up in Monument because it's snowing up here." I'm like, "Really? It's not hardly spitting snow in Colorado Springs." So I stopped and grabbed takeout because he didn't want to go out. And I get to 105, and it is literally an ice skating rink. They closed it. They turned everybody around, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try the back roads. It took me from 105 to go about 2 miles, about an hour to get home. And I saw a couple crashes. So it was insane. You
And
know,
what night was that?
that was Friday night.
Dang, you know what? Now I get the truth. My son was driving home from Omaha and
Yeah.
he took up to Cheyenne, then he came down I-25. And I knew how long it would take to drive from here to there. And he said, "Well, the weather's not great." I I had no idea it was that bad. Now I understand why it took him so dang long to get home.
Oh, yeah. It was an ice rink up in Monument. And it had snowed at first, it melted, it turned ice, and then it kept snowing. And it was bad. People were crashing into each other right in front of me. I'm like, oh, here's another crash. And he was at home looking at it on his map, going, wow, that's in real time. Yeah, I can see that it turned red. So
I guess I did the same thing when I was young. You don't want to tell your parents the truth and have them get worried or whatever, but
yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. So did he make it okay?
yeah, he made it fine. We had a dog that was dying, and it's just
Oh,
you've been on a rough stretch here. Um, but yeah, he got there okay. It took, I think, from Castle Rock to Colorado Springs, it looked like it took him about 3 hours, and it should
wow.
have taken him, an hour and 15 minutes because we're on the south side of town.
Yeah.
I knew there was something wrong, but I didn't realize it was that wrong.
It was scary. It was strange because just one exit down, like Baptist Road and South, the roads are fine.
Oh,
But
really? Wow.
right over Monument Hill, it was just ice. It was crazy. And, people don't know how to drive in ice. They, ride close to your tail and they go slow uphill and then they start sliding back down. You're like, oh, what an idiot.
It is funny. I mean, I every time the weather is bad on I-25, it's very easy. You don't even need to look at the license plates to figure out where somebody is from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready to go. I'll count this down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. This is the weekly radio show that informs and it educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with the host of the program, Barb Schlinker, owner broker of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, one of the biggest challenges for home sellers is that classic real estate catch 22 that you've talked about. It's having a house to sell before they buy their next home. So, how do homeowners get the highest price when they're selling their home and still know that their home is going to sell?
Well, I tell you, Richard, when a buyer comes along and they say, hey, I want to buy your home, but I have a house to sell. Will you reserve your house and wait for me to sell my home? So I ask sellers that question an awful lot. And most of them are like, no, they don't want to do that. They want certainty, right? And there are actually probably 80% of the buyers out there that need to sell a home before they can buy. So it's quite a dilemma and they don't know how to do it. I had one recently where the buyer made an offer contingent on his home selling, but it wasn't under contract yet. So the way the listing services work, we have to tell the world if the seller accepted a contract, technically. At least those are the most of the local MLS rules, right? The problem is that if a buyer makes an offer contingent on a home selling, and then we tell the world they've accepted a contract, a lot of these websites where the buyers are looking like realtor.com, homes.com, Zillow, will indicate to the world that the house is not available. But actually, in most cases, if they've accepted a contract contingent on their home selling, if they can't sell their home, buyer number two could actually make an offer and in a few days boot out buyer number one and be the one to buy the home. But it tells the world it's not available, which is not ideal for home sellers. So these are some of the things that we discuss when we meet with sellers to let them consider what the dilemmas are for home buyers out there and even for them as home buyers. I met with a home seller yesterday and she had tried with her previous agent to make offers contingent on her home selling, and she got summarily rejected left and right. And those homes sold very quickly. So, in general, most home sellers actually need their net proceeds to be able to buy their home. They also, in most cases, need their home paid off. Now, if you have a paid for home, that really puts you in a really good situation as somebody looking to buy, because even though your equity might be tied up in your house, you could still probably qualify to buy another home. And we actually have programs that help you do that without having to worry about having to sell it first. So the number one way to sell your home is to get your home under contract and then make an offer on the next home. That probably puts you in a little bit stronger position than a buyer that doesn't have to sell a home to perform. And the number one question that I would ask if an agent brought an offer to one of my listings and said, "Hey, my buyer wants to buy your listing, but it's contingent on their home selling, but it's under contract and we've gotten past all the hurdles." In that case, that's pretty close to a firm deal, and that's a good offer for a seller to accept. But I get questions often where I'll have a listing on the market and a buyer will come along and they'll say, "Hey, we want to buy this home, but we need to sell our home to perform. We need to sell our home to perform. So, will you accept an offer contingent on my home selling and wait for me to sell my house?" Well, most of the sellers won't do that. Well, we actually have a solution for that. We actually have a platform that if that seller has enough equity, we can actually get their home sold pretty close to full market value, and they'll be able to, with our cash buyers, and they'll be able to buy their next home first without having to worry about the sale contingency. And in general, most sellers really won't commit to a home in their next move unless, if especially if they think the deal is in doubt, they're just going to wait. So they're kind of on hold if you ask them to do that. But we give our home sellers basically kind of a backup offer with our cash offer program. So if you're making a contingent offer, it's definitely a lot weaker than making an offer when you don't have a house to sell. But again, we have solutions for that. And when we come back, we're going to talk about what you can do if you have a house to sell and you need to buy your next home. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about some solutions that we have that represent cash offers and how they work. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can always reach her at 719-301-3900. And we're talking with Barb about how cash offers work when you're selling a house. Barb, what are some solutions that you have for people who need to sell a house first before they buy their next one?
Well, Richard, we actually have a proprietary website where we can put any property in the country on this website and get anywhere from 3 to 11 offers. Many of them are cash offers where they could sell their home now without preparing their home for sale, without having to deal with, strangers coming through their house, and they'll have the certainty that their home is sold up front. We can even do it if they're making an offer on one of our listings. We could take somebody else's house, put it on that platform, and get their home sold so they can buy our listings without having to worry about waiting for the market to do it. And many times these cash offers represent full market value. Of course, there are the flipper offers that are in there where the prices are coming in low and they're trying to take your equity. But we have other offers that we're trying to get full market value for your home. And we can actually show these offers to you when you let us handle the sale. We offer this guarantee called 100% of market value or we'll pay you the difference. So that's one of our guarantees. Another guarantee is sell your home fast for full market value for cash. So all you need to do if you're interested in those offers is give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Not every agent has a solution if you have a house to sell, but we do have multiple solutions. 80% of the buyers out there have a house to sell but want to buy their next home, and most agents don't know how to fix that problem. So basically, we sit down, we show you the offers, and you decide which one is the best one for you. All you need to do is call us at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. There's a little green button right there that says cash offers. Richard?
Barb, you and your team are the only company that I'd recommend to people out there who are thinking of selling their homes and downsizing to a smaller home. You can always reach Barb and her team at 719-301-3900. Talking about homes, Barb, it's time for your hot new listings. What do you have this week?
Well, Richard, I'm really excited about him. The first one I have is a beautiful, almost new townhome. It's actually owned by the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. So I represent the asset management company, and I sell some of the homes that they have for sale in the area. And usually these homes sell really fast. They're in good shape. Nothing wrong with the house. It's just maybe the former owner couldn't afford it. But it's a great location right off of Interquest Parkway, close to all the great restaurants and shopping, priced in the low 400s. We also have a beautiful, beautiful ranch, South Colorado Springs on Declaration Drive. This home has 6 bedrooms, lots of bathrooms, great backyard, 3-car garage, priced in the low fives. We also have a beautiful ranch in Wolf Ranch, which is a highly sought after location with District 20 schools, 8151 Glory Drive, priced at $599. This gorgeous rancher has fresh carpet, it backs to open space, and it's a great location. We also have a beautiful home down in Pueblo on Royal Troon, another beautiful rancher that has a beautiful backyard with great views and a fully finished basement priced in the mid 500s. A spectacular home in Briargate on Camfield Circle. This home has an abundance of gleaming hardwood floors, backs to open space with gorgeous views of Pikes Peak right there on Camfield Circle, priced in the low fours, and then a spectacular custom home that has 5 different car spaces. On the main level, you could have main level living with 3 bedrooms plus an office. On the lower level, you could come in and do a side entry to another garage that will fit up to 4 cars, has a kitchenette, so you can actually have in-laws living on that level, plus another level with plenty of storage. And then sneak peek coming very soon. We've got Granny's home, an adorable ranch in Fountain with gleaming hardwood floors in the low threes, an unbelievably gorgeous home in Glen Eagle in the low sixes, and many more coming, including one that's actually on Meadow Lake Airport where you could literally taxi to your house in the mid sixes. If you're interested in all of our coming soon homes, you can go to barbhasthebuyers.com. And introducing special today, we have a new landing page on our website. If you go to barbhasthebuyers.com and click on best deals, we're actually offering an investor invitational. So these are off-market properties. Many of them are offered up on the market with $100,000 of available equity. So you could take your tools and put your own special twist to these and still make a great investment. But these are by invite only, and you have to register to be able to see them. So go to barbhasthebuyers.com, click on the button that says Best Buys to be invited to some of our best buys that are on the market right now. And if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719 301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. That's it for this week, Barb. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.
And keep your husband off the road. Thank you for the heads up on, gosh, dang. You know what? I'm not going to say anything to my son because I knew he was doing something along those lines.
Yeah,
I just did not know that it was that bad.
it was
So,
bad. It was
yeah.
really bad. It was